Hello and welcome to polyplane.com. Today we're going to be talking about object snaps. Back in college, I had a professor who did this great example of what an object snap is and why it's important. So what I've got here is the box on the screen. The dimensions aren't important, but what is important is the fact that I want to draw a line from one corner to another corner and do it kind of by eyeball. So I'll click in the bottom front left corner here, and I would go to the opposite corner, top front right. And then I'm going to go to the other corner and bring one up. And then I'm going to bring a line from this corner over to here. And finally, one last line across from here. And when the professor was done, I was like, okay, that's great. You just connected a bunch of corners. This is what really made the impact for me, was when he orbited around, you could see he was completely off mark. As a matter of fact, everything he drew was totally flat. Then he showed me what an object snap could do. So he took his line, and down here at the bottom of Rhino, it might look like this. If you click on where it says O snap, you'll see a bunch of different abbreviations come up here. We're going to click on end, and now I'm going to try to connect those corners again. Here to here, from here to here, and now you can see everything's nice and right where I want it to be. You may have noticed that when I hovered over an endpoint, there was a little word end that showed up. This is because I have the endpoint object snap activated. There's several others here. End, near, point, mid, center, intersect, perpendicular, tangent, quad, not. We won't get into all these, but I just want to cover the main three that you'll probably use more than any, and that's end, mid, and center. So midpoint, as it sounds, looks for the midpoint. Midpoint is great for dividing spaces up from their middle. Center is useful because it allows you to snap onto the center of whatever you're drawing. Usually this works with things that are drawn from a centralized point, such as a sphere, closed rectangle will do this as well. If I hover around near the edge, it'll tell me where the exact center is, and then I can draw out another line or shape. To understand this idea a little bit further, let's look at this line segment that I have on the screen here. The way I like to think about object snaps is it's like a little embedded magnet in every point that you can turn on an object snap for. In this case, if I were to turn on the endpoint object snaps for this line, it'd be like two little magnets are activated on either end of the line. So now when I go to draw a line that I want to attach to this, the magnets are activated and the line is able to snap directly to them. You can have multiple object snaps available at the same time, such as endpoint and midpoint, and this allows you to switch in between what you're snapping to, and sometimes you can even combine them, such as drawing a line from an endpoint to an arbitrary point outside of your line and then back down to a midpoint. This will create a lot of accuracy in your models and increase your ability to model to high tolerances, and is actually necessary for when you're going to do operations like sweeping, revolving, and lofting, because you want these things to be nice and tight. Let's look at a more complex object, such as a three-dimensional bottle. Look at just the wireframe for a moment of this bottle. We can start to see all of the grid work and points that make the bottle what it is. These points can all be object snaps. In closer detail, looking at just the cap for a moment, you can see where all of those object snaps might be able to go, depending on which object snaps you have activated. In this example, I would have quads, centers, endpoints, and tangents activated. If those magnets were visible on the surface of the bottle cap, it might look like what you see on the right. Rhino's glossary definition of an object snap talks about it constraining the marker or cursor to an exact location on an object, such as the center of a circle or the midpoint of a line. I would expand this definition a little further by saying it allows you to accurately and quickly pick points on your model so that you can modify them in ways that you need to. If I quickly wanted to split this box in half, with the midpoint object snap enabled, I can quickly pick the midpoints without changing my views, and then use the line I just drew to split my model. It's a time-saving mechanism that I highly recommend you learn how to employ. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.